Thank you so much, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. In 1976, composer Jim Steinman and Meat Loaf unleashed a rock opera on the world like, you guessed it, a bat out of hell. The only issue with that rock opera was that it was never fully produced until now. Following sold-out runs in London and Toronto, Jim Steinman's Bat Out of Hell is premiering at City Center in New York. Joining us now to discuss the incredible show, it stars Christina Bennington and Andrew Polec. Let's hear it. Hi. Hey. You guys have been the stars of this show for almost three years now, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Oh, yeah, an epic journey.
I imagine it's been an epic journey because I think this show, it has to be what it is in the sense that it's a massive spectacle. So how do you put all of that together? What was it like when you first got into the room with everybody and started creating the show?
Jeez, I think the first time we met, we were actually doing like a photo shoot, and we had never met each other before. And we were thrown into this like trial by fire photo shoot where we're like told to act like we've known each other for years. We've known each other our whole lives. Like we were soulmates at the very start.
And we were given a very brief, like, by the way, just so you know, the show is going to be like, it's going to be crazy stunts. It's going to be this. It's going to be this. And we had no idea. And then all of a sudden we're thrown into the rehearsal room and we see the sheer scale. And you see the set model box and you think, there's no way they're actually going to do that. Like, we'll turn up and it won't look like that. And then it did. And we had 10 weeks to workshop the show originally. So we had loads of time to try different things out and try different choreography and songs and really fully develop it and evolve it.
Well, you need 10 weeks, at least 10 weeks with something like this, right? Because the stunts are wild. The marks that you have to hit are insane. This isn't the kind of thing where if you don't hit your mark, you may miss a light cue or something. If you don't hit a mark, you could get hit by something swinging.
Yeah, you could, joyfully perish. I don't know.
You need 10 weeks just to learn the music as well, I mean.
Yeah, the music is an acrobatic feat within itself. I mean, these songs are making you stretch yourself and stretch your very soul. You're going from like the highest of Mount Everest and you're delving right down into like the depths of Death Valley. And then you're trying to come back out alive and hope that you're still breathing and your pulse is still beating.
And do it the next day.
Literally, what you're describing, like literally within the same song, though, I think of, the Bat Out of the Hell, the song itself, or I Would Do Anything for Love. And consistently, those songs are going way up, way down, way up, way down.
Way, way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the hardest song for you on stage, or what was when you first started?
Oh, gosh. I think what's so great about this music is that, originally Meat sang all of these songs by himself. And how he did it, we have no idea, because he's that guy who like landed on the moon first and we're following in his footsteps. And then when we said that to him, he's like, no. I landed on Pluto first. You guys are just, almost there. But we split all the songs, and splitting them together, you kind of make this like beautiful teamwork and this beautiful, almost tribal energy of people coming together and really, really pushing ourselves to the limit.
I think one of the hardest songs for us is For Crying Out Loud, which is also, I think, one of our most favorite songs to sing because it's, you could sing that and make it kind of pedestrian, but we instead chose to make it the most physical, demanding, kind of throwing yourself around, rolling around, jumping experience that we could, because we felt that was only right for Jim Steinman. So it's like all of this music, we have tried to follow in the footsteps of Jim and Meat by giving it kind of all of your gut and soul, because I don't think it works otherwise. You can't give these songs 80% and expect them to land. For them really to like grab you by the heart and pull you, you have to give it everything.
How involved were Jim and Meat in the early days of the whole process?
The funniest thing that happened, so Jim obviously was very far away when we were rehearsing in London, and he would be there via Skype. On a laptop, and he would give comments and feedback every day. So he was super involved, but he's also hilarious, and his mind is like so incredible. And sometimes when we were doing like official things, he would like try on masks in the background just to entertain us and things like that. So like he would bring this sense of fun as well, which was amazing.
During our meet and greet, when like the whole cast and creative team and everyone was supposed to get to know each other, he was on Skype and he put on a Darth Vader helmet. And he basically said to us, like, I am all of your fathers. Like, I created you guys.
And it sort of feels like that, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. We are his creations.
And then we've spent time with Meat Loaf as well, and he's been so incredible. Like Andrew said, saying he kind of passed the torch to us. He was like, your interpretation of these songs is just as valid as mine. I will never ask you what you're singing about and what you're feeling, as long as you never ask me to, because it's a really private, like emotional experience at the same time as being something that you give to everyone. So he gave us license to make it our own.
Yeah, I mean, these songs are cathartic. Like, everyone can relate to them. Everyone knows what it's like to be loved, to feel loved, to want love, to get unwanted love, or just to love, and love.
The story of that has been built around Bat out of the songs and put into the show is crazy and wild. It's about an underground world, right, where it's kind of like a Peter Pan fable, which is sort of comes from the fact that Jim Steinman initially was writing these songs as part of Peter Pan, right?
Yeah, initially it was a Peter Pan musical called Neverland, and it was in the works 40 years ago, and it was so wild that apparently they sent the script to the J.M. Barrie estate.
And they were like, no.
Yeah, they said, well, we like it, but you really lost us when the flying nuns were on motorcycles. And they said, yeah, I'm sorry,
Obviously.
we can't prove it. I don't know.
It's wild. I think of the post-apocalyptic city of Obsidian as kind of this world that exists if everyone just said yes to everything. So like everyone in these meetings and everyone in the cast was like, would it be cool if we did this? And everyone went yes to every single question. So it's like this larger than life, like heart and soul experience. And the story is kind of like that as well. There's something in it for everyone. There's a character for everyone. And there's always an extra detail to find in the world because we've been given license to keep adding and evolving.
Now I know that Meat Loaf said that I'm not going to ask you what you're thinking about when you sing these songs, and I'm not trying to ask what you're thinking about. But do you keep the world of Obsidian and that character in your head for the songs, or do you look for something personal within yourself to sort of ground yourself in these songs that have to go up, shoot up and down consistently?
I suppose that's the question of acting. Like, what part of yourself do you bring that's you? What part of the soul do you bring into that character that's you? What other parts are you bringing from other rock and roll stars of the past? And what other parts are you bringing that you just like see on the street every day? I think what's so amazing about New York City is that you see so many different character choices of like anyone just walking down the street. Like I don't know, this dude right here is probably gonna like come to the window right now.
He's our new inspiration.
Yeah,
He is.
he probably is. I mean, he's walking so confidently. Like, you just want to take that walk and just start like going with it.
Yeah, I think everything, like, it's got a bit of you in it, right? Especially when you've created something. We've been creating these characters for so long, and it's so amazing as an actor to walk into a rehearsal room and see, you know, for me, to see a song written down and think, like, this is, oh, I love this so much. This is amazing. It would be amazing if it was higher. And someone says yes, because when you're creating something, you have freedom to do that. So things that I just think are fun have now become like really fundamental parts of Raven's personality. I guess things that you don't get to do in real life. You know, I don't spend my life jumping and rolling around on the floor. Maybe I should, but Raven does.
Well, how would you characterize Raven as a person? What is her character like?
I think she's a complicated teenager. It's hard, you know, to say, I guess, what a complicated teenager is like. I certainly was one. She's dark, she's hopeful, she's stubborn, she's awful and wonderful. And I guess she sees every aspect that she's so confused about herself in Strat as well when she meets him. So I've had a lot of people come up to me afterwards, kind of teenage girls and girls who've just come out of that phase, say it's so nice to see someone representing kind of someone who's not likable at certain points, because, you know, we're not always likable people. You can't always be perfect, and Raven and everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, and it's hard to incorporate a character like that in a musical as well, because you have to jump to so many set pieces. It's hard to complicate a character. When you get away with it, it's incredible to do that. Tell me about Strat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what's so wonderful about what Jim created is that Strat is a teenager who's going to be forever 18 due to some freak chemical futuristic apocalyptic accident. He and a bunch of other boys and girls have just become stuck at 18, and they become these absolute freaks in this post-apocalyptic city. Like, no one wants to be near them. Everyone kind of treats them with prejudice, and they're like, why did this happen to them? They're also extremely jealous. Like, who wouldn't want to just be 18 forever.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, right?
To be honest, I would not.
But it's also...
I'm really thankful for the moment that things started to slow down a little bit in my head.
Right? But, you know, it's also like a trick question because it's like, it's a curse. Like, you're stuck in that, like, teenage angst forever. And, like, you can't grow past that. You can't grow past the, like, oh, yeah, I remember what it was to be 18. And, like, you felt like you were on top of the world, but you were also an absolute monster. And I think the longer and longer they stay 18, the more and more they realize that, oh, my gosh, this is awful. I never want anything like this because I can't fully follow through with any of my thoughts or my emotions. I can't truly fall in love for the first time. And they also realize that they're being oppressed. They're different. They're not like everyone else. So they want to fight for the equality. They want to fight for love for everyone, and they want to fight to find their voice. So, you know, they're going up and rebelling against this dictator of this city whose name is Falco. And, you know, the world's full of dictators. But we're fighting that, and then all of a sudden, Strat sees that Falco has a daughter named Raven. And he just kind of goes, oh my gosh, she's the truest form of love that I've ever seen. And all of a sudden, his rock and roll mentality, his world of rebellion and revolution kind of just turns into a big pile of mush, and all he wants to do is just follow her to the ends of the earth.
What is it like to play a character who embodies so much?
The truest form of love, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a true honor. No, it really is wonderful.
I imagine you got to keep that out of your head and just sort of play the scene as is. You can't go into a scene and be like, how do I portray the truest form of love right now?
Yeah, but I think the whole show is about the truest form of love. It's about, it is about youth and it's about growing up, but it's about connection in a larger sense, I guess, in so many ways. And what's so exciting for us is as a cast, as a team, like when you grow a project together, I think so much of that connection is already there and present and available on stage that you don't have to put pressure on yourself to like create it every night.
What has it been like to be with the show for as long as you have and watch it change over the course of time? It's gone from a couple different stages and now it's coming to the States, so I'd imagine it's evolved and changed bit by bit. What has that been like?
Crazy. It's been wonderful and also kind of heartbreaking. You know, when you create something and you lose a little piece of it and you get really emotional and then you're like, oh, but it was for the best. And so it's grown and evolved and things have changed. And I think we've ended with this. I say ended. I'm sure it will not stop changing ever.
But you have premieres on the 1st, right? And then the actual or previews on the 1st, and then it premieres on the 8th, right?
Yeah. So we always keep responding to the audience that we get, and we've not performed it to the people of the city where it is set. Which is very exciting. So I'm super excited as a Northern Irish person just to see how people respond. I'm still, getting to know the city and the people, so
it's the best of all worlds. I mean, we have amazing people who are part of this cast. We have Christina Bennington, obviously, who just kills every song she sings. We have another person from the UK named Danielle Steers, and she just does a wonderful job with the song 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad and Dead Ringer for Love. And we also have a Tony Award nominated, or not nominated, oh my gosh, she won it, Lena Hall. And she blows you away with her voice. We honestly, our jaws are just on the floor watching her as she sings Paradise by the Dashboard Light with Bradley Dean. And it honestly feels like the best parts of the UK production have come over with the most amazing parts of the American production. And we've all come together to form this almost perfect Jim Steinman team. Like almost like Jim Steinman baseball team, except none of us can play baseball, but we're really good at singing, so.
Apparently. No, it's really exciting to see the evolution of the show, and this chapter is super cool.
How much time have you had coming from the UK production to this production? How much rehearsal have you had prior to when you start previews on next week?
We've had 2 weeks in the rehearsal room, which is quite quick. It's pretty intense for this size of a show, and we have a couple of new people, so props to them. Amazing. And we have had a week of tech, which went very well. So that's it's promising.
Were
Good.
you not expecting it to go very well?
I'm amazed at the speed of how this group of people have been working. It's really super exciting, and there's always more stuff to find. And I guess you're always looking for new things. So,
What is the most complicated sequence within the show for you guys?
Bat?
Yeah, Bat Out of Hell's complicated.
I suppose the title song.
Yeah, the title song is insane. I mean, even the song itself. You have a boy trying to convince a girl to come away with him, and if she doesn't, he basically threatens that he will die because his very essence of being alive, his need to be alive, is tied to whether Raven will come with him or not. So, I mean,
We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's also a song of multiple parts.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's a
It's an
song
opera.
Yeah.
Every single song that Jim writes is an opera. I mean, do you have that song, Anything for Love? That is just, it's a journey. And it almost feels like you're traveling around the world. And, you're going to the coldest climates, you're going to the hottest climates, you're falling in love for the first time, and then you're seeing it get torn asunder, and you're just bleeding all over the floor. And that is true. We bleed a lot in this show. But
Not for real, disclaimer.
right, yeah.
I guess
it's the
what's
magic of theater.
It's so exciting about every sequence in this show has so many elements. Every sequence is complicated. We have a lot of close-up camera work. So we have a live camera operator on stage the whole time, which I guess kind of draws from the culture we have these days of so much, screen that we're used to seeing things up close and experiencing.
Live camera operator on stage?
Yeah,
Wow.
Paulina, she's amazing. And Jay has done an incredible job of melding the two worlds. So we have these huge, larger
Jay,
than life.
the director, right?
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, who, from what I was reading in the Times this weekend, comes from a sort of mixed media background, right? Not
Yeah.
specifically theater and Broadway or anything.
He directs a lot of opera, and he's
Opera.
brought a lot of the best bits of what he does multimedia-wise to this show. So you get the experience of watching people from far away and experiencing their full physical life, and then you get a close-up, about this close, of their expression. So what I think is amazing is you can kind of choose your perspective of what to watch in the show, and that happens in quite a lot of sequences. So you're thinking wow, stunts, incredible choreography, close-up camera work, and it's really up to you to almost decide what you want to focus on.
Do you feel like you have to change your performance at all when you know there's a close-up happening and there's an audience member way out in the back that you want to reach?
Yeah, definitely. It's the funniest bit for me is Rev'd at the beginning of the show, because in the first I was going to say couple of minutes sequence, it's longer than that. I spend some time up in the room in my bedroom set, close up on camera, and then I run down immediately onto stage, up and down about 3 or 4 times. And you do have to remember, okay, I'm playing to this size of a screen, okay, I'm playing to the full audience. And it's really a technique and discipline thing that we've grown and developed over time. And Paulina, our camera operator, has an amazing eye, so she's helped along the way.
Yeah, I mean, the camera almost mimics the songs. The songs are like taking a microscope and zooming in to a really, really intense emotion, then zooming out again. And I mean, what's so great is you see elements of this stage, or you see elements of the production zoomed onto these screens that you never would see unless you were standing right next to us. So it's honestly like the audience is being thrown into their seats and then onto the stage and then into their seats again. It's really...
You've been with the show for 3 years, and I've interviewed lots of people who do musicals, and for some reason I've never asked this question, so you're the first who are going to get it. But how much are these songs in your head when you leave the theater? Are you able to get them out of your head?
Do you know what? The ones that stick in my head that are the earworms are never the ones that I sing in the show. Because I think for some reason, you're obviously listening to other people's songs. So I get, a specific line that Danielle sings from Rock and Roll Dreams, and I sing that one line 20 times in a row. I mean, that can get a bit much. But the music's amazing. And amazingly, we're not bored of it. You'd think after almost 3 years of singing the music that, you wouldn't want to listen to it in your spare time. But we genuinely do still listen to the Meat Loaf album.
You can't get bored of it. There's always a new, treasure that's hiding in there. It's like staring at the Mona Lisa, or it's staring at some great work of art. You get to walk through the Louvre and just see these beautiful music paintings. And I don't think you'd ever just get bored of that. You can always find something new. And I think that's what's so beautiful about Jim Steinman's work.
Yeah. I think we have time for a couple questions from the audience. Who's a question? Hey, right here. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm so glad to meet you, and it's so wonderful to see you.
It's wonderful to see you too.
So, your moderator has asked the question actually that I was going to ask. So I'm
Sorry.
That's okay. So I was going to go a little bit beyond it, which is, well, I knew Jim when I was 20, and I performed opposite him, so I've known him a long, 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 long time. And his music's been alive in me all that time, till now. What I'm wondering is, how can you imagine going past this show when this show should finish? How can you imagine finding material that's this remarkable and this empowering, and that will grow you still further as he has in the last 3 years?
I think what's so amazing about Jim's music is not only do you feel it emotionally and personally, but it also pervades so much of our culture these days. And there are so many of his songs that people don't realize are Jim Steinman songs, which is so exciting. And we've been honored to interpret his music. And I think as actors and as singers, the only answer I can give is that you learn something from all material that you do about yourself. And I know for me, this was so different than anything I'd sung before as a classical soprano. Coming to Jim's music was really eye-opening and has changed, my voice and the way I approach things and the way I've been freed in many ways. And I look forward to the next challenge that is presented to me because I think I will learn something just as deep and profound, but very different.
Yeah, I would say everything that Jim has taught us through this whole experience, he's opened the door. He's broke the lock of whatever we were scared about before. I mean, if we can do this work and we can have fun doing this work and we can, go above and beyond in pushing the boundaries that he wants us to push, it feels like the sky's the limit. And it feels like all we can say is, for crying out loud, for that, we love you. Yeah.
One more question.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Good, you?
As traveling singers, actors, what are some must-have things in your bags?
Oh, what a
Y'all.
fantastic question.
You know I'm weird.
It's a great one.
Yeah. I mean, awfully, the first thing I was like, snacks. But, always on the go. I think an important thing as a singer to always, stay hydrated. But things I need while traveling, I actually would say as singers, we use ear protectors quite a lot. So we wear things in our ears to protect our hearing. So when you're on the subway, or for me, the deafeningly loud tube in London, it's good to protect your hearing so that you're always staying sensitive for when it's time to actually sing in the show. So maybe that's a way better answer than snacks.
Is the tube louder than the subway?
Yes, 100%.
Really, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine the tube is kind of muted compared to the subway.
I don't think
Near
the
to
tube
subway, which
squeaks
is
as
very...
much as the subway. Does the tube squeak?
We shall conduct an experiment and get back
Yeah,
to
I
you.
know. We'll have to re-listen. Geez, I don't know.
We're gonna take this interview down to the
Yeah,
subway.
right?
Let's
We're
go.
gonna conduct an experiment.
Down to the subways, down to the tunnels. Oh gosh, I don't know if my answer is going to be as refined as Christina's, but
Make it messy.
messy. Okay, it's going to be messy. I have like a lucky pair of underwear that I always
Boxers or briefs?
briefs.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like,
Boxer briefs or briefs?
they're like extreme briefs.
Extreme briefs. Wow.
I'm wearing them right now because I was like super nervous. I don't know.
So what you're saying is, everyone needs Andrew's lucky pair of underwear?
I am so glad
just
to have been graced with
You
you
need,
and
like-
your extreme briefs. That's so sweet.
You need your I don't know, your personal what makes you comfortable clothing.
I'm more
Wherever it
comfortable
be.
now.
Wait, does nobody else do that? No one
No.
else has
No.
lucky underwear. Okay.
No,
great.
I'm with you, Andrew. I got multiple pairs of underwear in these pockets right now, just ready to go for different scenarios that could play out today.
I just carry a backpack full of them. I don't even need to wear them. It's just.
Guys, congratulations on the show, and thank you for your honesty. That was a really great answer. I'm sorry that I gave you some shit. It was a great answer.
You don't seem to be a fan.
The show sounds incredible. It opens August 8th at City Center in New York. Previews begin August 1st.
Yep,
Congratulations, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Give them a huge round of applause.
Thank you so much.